back for another movie review. Yeah, it's taken me a little while to get to this movie, but here I am. The 27th feature in the MCU franchise. Let's talk about Spider-Man Far From Home. No Way Home.
Into bright white. You said that it was from...
Okay, real quick, let's get this out of the way. If it was in the trailer, it's in a promotional poster, it does not count as a spoiler. Anything that does count as a spoiler, I will actually be doing after I give my score, and I will give you the heads up when it's going to happen. So, Spider-Man No Way Home takes place after the events of Spider-Man Far From Home, where Spider-Man has his secret identity revealed to the world by J.J. Jameson. And now he and both his friends, Ned and MJ, are being more or less badgered by the media, and they're playing the fact that everyone is taking their side. Some people are saying, yeah, we're fans of Mysterio and Spider-Man killed him. Some are on Spider-Man's side. Going through all this persecution, Spider-Man decides to go visit Doctor Strange and ask him to have everyone forget that he's Spider-Man. So in the middle of the spell, Spider-Man screws it up, and what happens is Doctor Strange accidentally opens up portals, and people who know Peter Parker start coming in. There's a huge message about redemption in this movie, and I get it for the most part. It is a bit heavy-handed, but it's also hard to understand, as everything that happens in this movie is Peter Parker's fault. This movie could have seriously ended after 20 minutes if he would have just did one thing, and then everything he does compounds it. So I really didn't feel sorry for Spider-Man by the end of the movie, because he caused this movie to happen. And I'm not just talking about him interfering with Doctor Strange's spell. There are actions he takes afterwards, because this movie is so heavy-handed on second chances and the redemption idea that it's really hard to feel. There's a moment about an hour and 20 minutes into the movie where you're supposed to feel sad, but I just said, that's your fault. That's on you, buddy. I did like the casting, and it was a lot of fun to see some of these characters come back, especially Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. He was really good. I enjoyed him a lot. Willem Dafoe eats scenery like it's no tomorrow in this movie. Him coming back to Green Goblin, absolutely amazing. I'm not a big fan of Jamie Foxx. And the guy who plays Lizard and Sandman, they were like, whatever. Tom Holland is once again very good as Spider-Man. Ned is fine. He's starting to wear on me. I didn't really like him in the last movie in Far From Home. And yeah, and can we please stop making Zendaya a thing? She can't act. She reminds me, for those of you who are wrestling fans, she reminds me of Johnny Gargano from NXT. She has one facial expression, and that's all she can do. That's why we call Gargano Johnny Same Face. Zendaya Same Face. She does get a little bit more range here, but she's still just like this snarky, like, you're very unlikable. And you have no screen presence. I don't get it. That's for the good part. Like I said, I really disliked the story. I thought the comedy was really bad once again. It takes you out of the moment in certain places, plus it's not funny. Like, I can understand something like Jungle Cruise, where it's supposed to be bad comedy because it's like father jokes, but The Rock had the charisma to make it funny. Zendaya has no charisma, so it's not funny. The way they took Doctor Strange off the board really didn't make a lot of sense. And that's basically my thoughts on this movie. None of it made a lot of sense. It's just a series of things that are happening. And I think the reason that it is getting such a high score and praise from people is just the nostalgia is there. To see Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1, Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2, to see the Electro and who else was it? And the Lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And I get the third act is really fun. For the most part, when it isn't being stupid. And that stuff is pretty cool, but like the rest of it, I was sitting there like, no, I don't feel sorry for any of you. Spider-Man, and this is all your fault. I don't think the story makes a hell of a lot of sense. In all honesty, this is a movie that's saved by something that happens in the third act. So yeah, I'm going to give Spider-Man a 5.8. And most of that is from the third act and some good acting from the players in the third act, and you know, Willem Dafoe, Tom Holland, and Alfred Molina. Other than that, I just wasn't into this. Also, if you're gonna watch this, there is a post-credit scene that retcons something that happened in another movie earlier this year. Also, you do not have to stay to see the last scene. The last scene is literally a trailer for the second Doctor Strange movie. So if you want to, you can stay there and watch it, but it's just literally a trailer. So you can go home once the mid-credit scene happens. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. 5.8. It's a little bit above average, and it's only saved by the third act. Okay. So, let's get that sign up. Okay, this is going to be a mild spoiler, and I'm not going to get into details on it. But yes, if you were wondering, and in case you didn't know, all three Spider-Men show up. So you have Tobey Maguire, you have Andrew Garfield, and you have Tom Holland. And their banter is fun as hell. And it really does save a movie that just doesn't make a lot of sense. It still doesn't make a lot of sense anyway. But it is so fun to see those three actors together, especially Tobey Maguire, who is kind of looking his age. Andrew Garfield, not so much. And just listening to them compare the differences between them, whether it's comparing their powers, comparing their villains. I do think that they do kick around Andrew Garfield's character a little bit too much. They make him like he's kind of the butt of all the jokes. But it's really cool. There is a moment in the third act, like I said, this is mild spoilers. All I'm talking about is the three Spider-Men, not actually story plot. There's a moment in the third act with Green Goblin, and they play this dramatic music, and you think something huge has happened. And nothing happened. I was like, what the hell? When you see it, you'll know it. But yeah, that stuff with them really elevated the movie. And I kind of wish they were in the movie more. They really only show up for like about the last 45 minutes. And it is brought up as a joke, but at least they're funny. Like the rest of the movie really wasn't funny. They were hilarious. It's, like I said, when they're going back and forth on each other, great. They have amazing chemistry. I said the movie is about a redemption, and I know a lot of people were asking for Amazing Spider-Man 3. I wouldn't do that, but I will have to say Tobey Maguire shined in this role in his limited amount of time on the screen. He just carries himself as a Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, he's fine. I find him a little bit too quippy for me, but I get that's what Spider-Man is at times. But I don't know, it just, some of his stuff was funny because he's degrading himself. But man, and it is so weird to see them just kind of overshadow Tom Holland, because Tom Holland is going through his redemption story of what's going on in this movie. But like I said, he's the one who caused all this nonsense twice. So I never really felt sorry for him or forgiving him. Plus, the spell he asked Doctor Strange to do at the beginning of the movie is, I believe, completely different from the one that ended the movie. But yeah, it does set up for more web slinging action at the end. So, but yeah, like 5.8, it's above average. The nostalgia didn't work for me, and the story was completely nonsense. This movie could have really ended, and I know you can say that about a lot of movies 20 minutes in. But like every decision Tom Holland made was not only wrong, it was stupid, and it made no sense. So, that's it for Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't know why I keep confusing those two names. But yeah, that's it for Spider-Man No Way Home. I know a lot of people love this movie. It's already made $1 billion in 11 days without China. Tell me how wrong I am in the comments below, because I know people love this movie. I don't get it. It's not for me. So, until next time.